Hey guys, so I wanted to share a really quick download that I received recently, and there is a drawing, a visual attached that came with the download, so bear with us. We're gonna be doing a little bit of drawing. Okay, so first I'm gonna start by drawing a dot in the center of the paper, and this dot represents a particular situation or scenario that you might be facing in your life. All right, now around the dot, I'm going to draw a circle. Now this circle represents all of the different perspectives or ways of looking at this particular situation, right? We got a 360-degree view here. And this circle can be split up in an infinite number of ways. So with every situation, there is an infinite number of perspectives that you can have, an infinite number of ways of looking at it. All right, let's make this a little bit more realistic. We are gonna add you into the picture. Now you are represented by this triangle down at the bottom. This basically just represents the perspective that you have on the situation based on your program, based on the past experiences you've had, based on your belief system. All right, and usually most situations, anyways, the important ones, include another person. So let's add another person into this diagram. This person is going to be represented by the square at the top. And you see, you guys are in conflict. You're looking at this situation from two completely opposing viewpoints. All right, now we've set the stage. What is the most empowering point in this diagram? From which place can you look at every perspective objectively and then decide which perspective is going to be the most conducive to the reality that you want, most conducive to the outcome that you are trying to achieve? The most empowering place in this diagram, guys, is right here in the center. From this point, you can look at every single possible perspective, right? You're not attached to a particular perspective, right? When you're in this spot, you can't look at every single spot objectively. From this spot, you can see every single possible perspective without being attached to any, and that is the key. So this, being in this place, being one with the situation, essentially means you're not judging the situation. You've completely accepted what is happening. You aren't trying to escape the situation. You aren't trying to look at it as good or bad. You aren't trying to look at someone as right or wrong. You are simply observing what is happening in the present moment without trying to get away from it. I think so much of the time when we experience, something that triggers us or something that causes negative emotions to arise, something that makes us uncomfortable, the first thing that we want to do is get out of it. It's like, how do I stop feeling this, right? How do I fix this problem? How do I escape what's happening? And it's in that anxiety of trying to escape the situation that we find discomfort, not in the situation itself. It's like when we want a positive experience, that's actually a negative experience. Whereas when we accept a negative experience, it is a positive experience. So being one with the situation really means accepting what life has brought to your doorstep and knowing that there is no place you are meant to be other than here, right? So we come into this place of acceptance, and then from that point, we can see all the possible perspectives, all the possible ways of looking at things, right? Because we're not attached to our particular belief system. We're not attached to our idea of right and wrong and good and bad and so forth. So you come into this space, and now you've said, all right, I've looked at all the perspectives. Let me choose a more empowering perspective. And that is marked by X right here. X is when you say, what's the lesson here? What is the situation trying to teach me? In what ways have I created this situation? All right, that's X. X is the empowering situation, the one that, provides you with that higher consciousness and the way of looking at the situation, which, helps you to understand its deeper purpose, essentially. What happens when you change your perspective, guys? You're looking at this situation now in a completely different light. Not only that, but your perspective of every other point on the circle has now changed, right? From where you were before. Your perspective of this person, your relationship with this person has now changed. And what's more, what's really important to note is that this person's perspective of you has also changed, right? And their reaction to you is going to follow the change in perspective that has happened. So you change your perspective, you change the situation. You've changed the stage. You've changed the way that, this situation is being perceived. You've changed your relationship with the other person or people involved. And you've changed the way you look at every other thing in your life. Nothing happens independent of you. Nothing happens independent of you. You are the master of your reality because you are the master of your perspective. The way you choose to look at things dictates how you experience them, and it dictates how other people react to you. There is nothing independent of you. There is nothing outside of you. You are all that there is, my friend. Thank you so much for tuning into this message.